How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. That's a wonderful vision for us with couple. So what's going to be the main purpose to the overall population of Africa?
To bring industry, to start creating industry within. Okay, let's start bringing countries from the out instead of the countries coming in and taking industry out. Let's have them bring industry in so we can start hiring locals. Let's build wealth within. Let's create new companies. Let's create new jobs from within.
Right. Oh, that's great. So outside Africa, we've been suffering a lot of minerals being taken without being added value to. How is tobacco going to address this?
Oh, that's simple. First of all, you have to look at Africa as a continent. And as history has shown, a kilo of gold is worth less where it's extracted and worth more after it's imported. So the idea of what we can do is in certain minerals, whatever needs to be manufactured, we'll start steps one in the manufacturing or packaging standpoint here. Then we ship out. Now what that does is that raises, the value of the product here.
How are you addressing the problem of power so that beneficiation can be done?
One of the biggest purposes that Ocentra, that we strive to do is create technology that's eco-friendly. Okay, so it doesn't disturb the environment. Okay, we have a technology called GES, it's gravitational energy. All right, and what we were able to do is derive energy, from buoyancy, from water, which is gravity, which is harvested through air, Now, what that means ultimately is we can place our units anywhere in the world. We can place them in the desert, we can place them in the jungle, we can place them out at sea. It doesn't matter, we can create energy, and it doesn't require any fuel, or any type of fuel consumption. There's no carbon footprint, and it's not combustible. So that's going to be the answer here because it'll marry to the refining component of mineral rights. It'll marry perfectly because it's eco-friendly, which means it won't disrupt the environment.
So is this linked to a smart grid?
It is completely a smart grid. It is. We build it in modules. So from a smart grid standpoint, we can create to a large grid, or we can create small mini grids, or we can just directly, install a situation to a hospital, to an industry, to a building, whatever it is.
All right. Oh, this is going to save us. How is the costing of that new technology besides the power we've been having in Africa?
It's going to give us 24/7, 365 days a year, no rolling blackouts. The cost is going to be tremendously less. It's going to be less than any current rate that's being sold or being bought throughout the continent.
Tobacco is now still like in-house. Some few governments know it's known to the African Union and the stakeholders. So how are we going to brand tobacco to be brought to the world?
Well, that's where we come in. We've already partnered. We're going to set up travaco1 the United States.
Okay.
We're going to partner with the current movements that has started in the United States that have gone worldwide.
Okay.
So we're going to brand what we're doing. This is an endeavor that has to be experienced with the world.
How is the partnership between your Travaco and Ocentra going really to affect many other projects that are going to be developed in Travaco?
Well, number one, it's going to open up a different mindset. We're coming in with the mindset of bringing in and having it stay. So the idea here is to create a brand, that we're going to build right here in Africa. And we hope to make it the largest brand in the world.
Mr. Most welcome, CEO of Travaco, Mr. Ben Nula. It's a pleasure having you here in this function. Briefly about Travaco, the world wants to know how did this vision come about and what is the tremendous value it has to the people of the African continent as well as the world at large.
Well, Travaco is an evolution of ideas from so many people. We have adopted and assimilated the experiences of so many people. And as you know, in Africa, for very many years, we've relied on extraction corridors. Africa is full of extraction corridors. And what we've seen over the last 100 years is that the continents that have developed value corridors. So we are saying that in Africa, we will now develop value corridors. And our value corridor starts from Tanzania through Uganda to DRC. It's an east-west corridor. The footprint is about 18,000 kilometers, combining about 500 million people in the ecosystem. This is in consonant with what the African Continental Free Trade Area sets out to achieve, and the travaco vision is really to reach the objective of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Perhaps, Brother Dwayne, you want to share some experiences of how America was opened up with the development of these corridors.
This is very, very, very important. When this in America, it was called the Industrial Revolution. Okay? What the Industrial Revolution did is it created what is called domestic opportunity, which created domestic wealth. Key word is domestic. Okay, the opportunity that we have before us with travaco is one of creating domestic opportunity, which creates domestic wealth. And what domestic wealth means more wealthier Africans, okay? By creating more industry, which creates more jobs, which creates a better, a higher living.
How are we working, bringing that example from Mr. Dwayne to benefit Africa?
Well, we've had many mistakes in travaco, and we have evolved our approach over the years. One of the things we found out is that it's not enough to bring industry. It's extremely important to have a holistic approach. And in travaco, we've done an extensive investment scoping. We hired a world-renowned consulting engineer to do the investment scoping all the way from Tanzania to DRC. What we found out is that our education system is archaic. So at the core of the Trans-Africa Value Corridor is the development of innovation and business incubation centers in each corridor anchor town. This will allow the millions of youth in Africa to be able to create competitive SMEs. The greatest wealth in Africa are the youth. If we are able to convert the millions of youth into successful entrepreneurs and owners of SMEs, the SMEs become the ecosystem for attracting larger and bigger industries. And with our partnership with Osintra, we are able to access a new type of capital, which we call ethnic patient capital. Capital from our own family in the diaspora who are ideologically aligned to the Africans and have shared the pain and labor of developing our communities. So this is very, very powerful partnership that we've forged.
What is the participation level of the stakeholder government in the development and realization of travaco?
We believe that every stakeholder government is a partner. We do not expect or require them to contribute financially, but we will use the state-owned enterprises, we will look out for the national companies, and we will give them goodwill shares in each of the travaco anchor projects because we recognize the importance of sovereignty. So we are here to partner, not to grab and take away. So we will create value for each of the stakeholders, and not only stakeholder governments, by the way. We have created a travaco foundation, and it's in the process of being properly set up by Brother Dwayne. It will be out of America with branches in Africa. And the purpose of this is to ensure that we have trust funds for each community, because if we do not empower the communities through which the corridor passes, then it will end up as an extraction corridor. So we believe in partnering not just with host governments, but also with host communities.
So how are you linking the incubation and business incubation center to the big projects so that our people participate valuably?
Yeah. We are creating a travaco university. As you know, we already have gone through the process with the National Council of Higher Education. So we are going to reactivate that. And the other very, very important thing to understand is that this is going to be continuous, all right? Because upgrading and giving people skills is going to be matched with each project. Because if we do not get our people involved at the onset, then they will just be, onlookers. So it's very, very important to understand the central role of developing the soft capacity, and that's going to be done by the Travaco University.
We welcome all the brilliant ideas. Thank you. These are great brains here for Africa.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you around. I honor the presence of Mrs. Gertrude Njuba in her capacity. We welcome you. And Mr. Peter Rapport. I'm Edith Senjubile, an investment analyst in Travaco Limited, in charge of Railways Division. Travaco is an African version of the Belt and Road, the initiative driven by China, but Travaco is a version for Africa. It's an east-west economic corridor connecting the Indian Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, from Tanzania through Uganda to DRC or Democratic Republic of Congo. That's the backbone to Travaco, but with several branch lines connecting more than 6 countries, including Burundi, Rwanda, connect to Kenya, Angola, Ethiopia, Central African Republic, and Cameroon. Our logistics have been so poor. For example, I'll elaborate a bit. If we ship a container from China to Africa, we don't have a deep sea port in East Africa. Look at Mombasa, our ports are shallow, Dar es Salaam. So we need to do transshipment from Durban in South Africa to bring our goods here, and the cost of logistics are killing us. With Travaco, we are planning a deep sea port in Tanga, Tanzania, that will give us access to direct shipping from all the markets of the world, so that the cost of logistics are reduced to almost 50%. We are not buying anybody out. Travaco, we need people, and it's designed for people to be uplifted by increasing productivity as well as earnings per capita. So we are not extracting capital from them, but we are enabling them to grow with Travaco or development that Travaco is bringing. At the core of each special economic zone is an innovation and business incubation center. This is created to nurture our people, give them market-driven skills so that they are able to work in Travaco. Travaco is open for you so that we develop together, we get the required skills, and then get Africa at the next level. We are the last continent to develop. Let's do it better, taking advantage of all the new technology that is built, take advantage of anything, any incentives that are present, so that Africa becomes the engine of the global economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before the next speaker, there are about 2-3 things I am noting. Travaco is coming to improve, initiate, and develop. I'm very sure that we are taking into consideration the existing economic corridors, and they have to be incorporated in the plans, and this is the uniqueness of Travaco. What is existing will exist, and it will be improved, and new things are going to come on board. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, CEO. Thank you so much, Madam Juba. Thank you so much, whoever that has invested time in sourcing these wonderful people. Officially this, and this is the official.
Stage, and we must be able to show our difference, because we are different from the others.
Thank you so much. Those who are not able to hear what he says, on the official launch, and the whole of the social. Those who are down there, please kindly welcome him. This is the house. Everything, where are you? Kindly join me. About 5 minutes before we join in the main house. Kindly.
Everybody here is very happy and very, very honored to have you, sir. About travaco, this has been a long dream. And I know from the history I've read that you've been carrying this vision with you almost for entire life.
First of all, I am pleased that all of you, they are part of my dream. And the dream that has come, it has yet actualized in terms of transmitting what is in our head and in our paper to the ground, to Mother Africa. Now, travaco is Trans-Africa Value Collective. It was the conception of the Afro-Asians of that time, after the American Civil War. One of the characteristics of Africa is that we can overcome so many problems. Okay? And I am one of them. I have survived many problems, and I am still. I can easily rub shoulders with the new generation. When we got independence, we began opening down. But still, Africa lacks one thing: Trans-Africa highways, so that we can trade, we can do everything. And that's what travaco is trying to do. Is linking up with his colleague of ours, and they are mobilizing some funds which will enable this travaco.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a brief interview, a history of travaco from the Right Honorable of Guest of Honor. Let us welcome our chief guest. He officially lands into our venue. Ladies and gentlemen, after our guest of honor has taken his seat, I also ask you to take your seats. Some of these things are quite difficult. I'm going to call upon Madame Gertrude Njuba to welcome our guest, so as we can have his speech.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tale. Right Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and Chairman of the Board of Advisors of travaco. Maybe some people didn't know. Right Honorable Chironda Chibejinja is the Chairman of our Board of Advisors. You are welcome to this launch. Mr. Dwayne Corbett, CEO of Ocentra, Mr. Benunula, shareholders, friends, trainees, employees, and everybody who is here to see this launch. This is a very emotional moment for me. Those who have been in this country and who cared to see, we realize that whenever Right Honorable Chironda Chibejinja is with a group, you know that group is following in the footsteps of the Pan-African movement. You may be following it without knowing, like I did. When I started following into their footsteps, I didn't even know that I was actually in the footsteps of that movement. And I'm happy to report, each time we have linked up with Right Honorable Chironda Chibejinja, we have won. And I have no doubt that now travaco has won. Because we don't get together to produce failure. So, Dwayne, you are among people who win wars. And we win wars friendly and unfriendly. If you come to us with an unfriendly front, we shall put up a front, you will never come back to us. Now that I see you representing the African diaspora, I know that we have recovered our people. And together we shall develop Africa without strings attached. And don't think we are going to find it easy. We are not going to get it easy. There will be resistance. But what we have learned to do in the last many years is to fight resistance. This is a difficult moment for me to express myself. I feel so happy. I am happy to welcome you, sir, when you come to launch travaco, which I'm sure from this day, with Dwayne and his group, we are going to move forward. And anybody who is feeling shaken, please be firm. We are winning. Thank you very much. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. By God's grace, I'm here. By God's grace, I'm proud to be here. My name is Dwayne Corbett. I am the CEO of Ocentra. Okay. And what we do at Ocentra, our mission, okay, is to enhance the overall quality of life through seeds and services worldwide. Because the value of business and interest to us makes your vision our vision. One of the biggest endeavors that we have taken is we specialize in technology. The Honorable Prime Minister addressed something earlier that was really, really important that we take into consideration. When he addressed why slavery was really abolished. It wasn't abolished because it was the right thing to do. It was abolished because a group of individuals thought that technology was more valuable than human slavery. At Ocentra, what we specialize in is this technology. It's the same thought pattern that's been used or to enhance a number of countries throughout history. It's always been technology. The drawback and the pushback that's happened here has been they don't want us together to establish technology. That has been the thing that has stopped us. Together, by introducing new technology, we have a technology to create energy that's far superior than solar, wind. It's superior than fusion. Okay, I've had many roadblocks because of this technology. It's called GES. Okay, it's gravitational energy. We figured out how to capture or develop energy with that technology. It's eco-friendly. These are all the things that we're bringing to travaco, to the African continent. But one of the most important things that we're bringing is we're bringing methods of technology that will be used domestically by locals. It's going to create jobs. It's going to develop new wealth. One of the things that I know, and I think I was able to convey to Benanula, the most important thing he did is he assembled a group of very intelligent millennials. And the reason is because they're the ones that are paying attention and are constantly on their phone daily. Technology, information. Information is the key to success. They're the ones using it. Now let me tell you why it's important that our African and African American millennials stand up and talk, because they're the ones building brands. A brand is successful when the millennials either wear it or they're doing it, and people of our generation see it and we follow suit. And then we go, oh, give me whatever he's wearing. So it's important for what we're doing here and the way we proceed forward is we have to allow them to be themselves. And that's what we're going to do. We're jumping into a movement, okay, that we're going to build a brand in America. It's going to start there. And the reason it's going to start there, because what happens here greatly affects what happens there. The reason I know we're going to succeed is because I know what has succeeded and the way that it was curtailed to succeed. We're not going to recreate the wheel. We're going to duplicate what's already succeeded. See, this is a solution. We have a solution. If we fix this, this fixes everything. When we build this and we create domestic opportunity, domestic wealth. So I say I'm excited and I'm full of grace. You know, one of the things that my father says, when you run alone, that's a race. When you run with God, that's grace. So thank you. Thank you for having me. I look forward to being here. I love your country. It's beautiful. And I can't wait, you know what I mean, to get back to work and get started.
Thank you, Brian. You have awakened this generation bothers us by saying we want jobs. So now it is not the age of looking for jobs. It is already creating opportunities for jobs. And he has told you that you are a different generation. And when they came to me with Benanula, I listened to them, and I said, I will move with you. Now, when he came, and he says he has discovered the twine with them, I I said, now you have got a proper base. Because don't imagine that anybody thinks about you more than you think for yourself. And as a race, this is the time when you can join up with all generations all over the world and be able to make a home in Africa and assist Africa to also release the potential, because despite our number and the history, we still have the continent with the greatest amount of natural resources. These are a plus. Two, we have got the biggest growing population here. So the future of you, because that's your generation, and of your children, who are the majority here, and everywhere, you have got a big catch, and there is no reason why, if you have discovered that this was the dream of us, for the also Africa and the black people to play a role in the future of mankind. This is the time. With those few words, you allow me, because of the number of things I have to move to Marara.
That was our guest of honor. Thank you so much for that wonderful, inciting speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to let him go in the interest of time and for the good of the nation. We are very thankful, Mr. Benola and team kindly escort him. DJ will request for a musical interlude, and in the next 5 to 7 minutes, we should be having our lunch. And after lunch, we shall have a few speeches, 1 or 2, and then we shall tell you how the climax of the function is going to be. Upon the CEO of Travaco, Mr. Benola. One thing I will tell him is that he has the time to tell us what he wants to tell us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a long journey, and the journey still continues. But I see so many warriors in this room that I'll stray a bit of the prepared text. I want to thank a very special friend who led us into DRC. And I remember being frustrated. One of the first meetings she pulled me into was with a very honorable person by then occupying a very high office in Uganda. And I won't mention his name, Madam Dua, don't worry. And I won't even mention which office, but you'll understand. So I was supposed to present to him a plan of which I thought would be receptive. He told me, mwana wange wakitoyo kya mbuzi. Abayindi wano bagula embuzi. Ogira wano n'ofuna embuzi wano n'ozookya. Nzifikkane tuswale Dubai. Ebyo byoyogera by'abazungu. For those of you who might need an interpretation from the Lugbar, I've said, What he told me was that, look, the ideas you have are very stupid. Plain. Why don't we go and get goats from the countryside, roast them, and sell what is left over to Dubai? Man, I looked at this man, it's terrible. But by then we were lucky, we had been sponsored through advanced training and degrees and gone to Wall Street, blah, blah, blah. But still, we needed somebody like Madame Njuba to fish us back. So when we were brought back here, we met a whole bureaucracy that didn't believe it. We were ridiculous, you cannot believe it. From one meeting to the other, you know, it is very typical in Uganda, when you are coming from the capital markets, when they say 9 a.m., you're usually there 5 minutes to 9 a.m. One of the very honorable gentlemen who gave me my first appointment, that Madame Nora Boya actually knows quite well, but I won't mention his name as well, the wonderful doctor. I was there at a few minutes to 8, all dressed up, adjusting my tie. The gentleman turned up at around 4 and told his secretary, "Oh, sina budde, bagamba wakomewecha." I said, "What?" I said, "This is supposed to be prime material." And it happened, and it happened, and it happened. So ladies and gentlemen, it is not easy to get to this step today. So when we started out, we thought we would develop a special economic zone. And we thought of putting it around Nabugabo. That belt from Ugolo all the way to Mutukula. That lake area, my goodness, it's wonderful. So we made studies, we hired Air Alexander at that time. I think it was $5,000 an hour. We booked for 3 hours, shareholder money. And when we were airborne, I think over, was it Kalishi or something? The thunder, started striking us up there. So we strayed off somewhere into Ankole, and the pilot said, "I'm sorry, your time is up, you pay more." So we didn't survey. You understand? So there were so many things you can't believe it. At one time we got to investor groups. I think we had gone to Malaysia, convinced them. No. We had a little letter from Minister of State for Finance. And we said, "This is it." When we drove them down, they said, "We want to see Mutukula border, just to see the geography of trade." We said, "We'll get to Mutukula border." By then, the Mutukula highway had not yet even been tarmacked. And we were telling them it would be tarmacked. We had lobbied to go from Chotera halfway to Mutukula. Took us like 3 hours, 4 hours. It was so bad. The investor said, "We have withdrawn. Take us back to the airport. We don't even want to go to the airport. This is hell. This will never happen." Man, with tears in my eye, was on departure lounge at Entebbe, and they didn't even say goodbye. So don't even call us again. And the other time I remember we went to Germany. We told them about the statistics of the agricultural modernization plan. We calculated how many tractors Uganda would need. We convinced, I was originally an agricultural officer in the other life. Man, I did the numbers. And these people accepted to put up a plant. We were fighting with 4 ways, I remember. 4 ways was bringing Akamba, we were bringing Fent. We brought in our Fent tractor, and this animal, these human beings, told us, this tractor has been tested in Germany. We cannot allow you to put a factory in Africa because we have to test it. I said, "What type of facilities do you have to test a tractor?" No, it has to be tropicalized. I said, "Okay." So we flew in. I think it was on Das Air. 45 horsepower tractor for testing. Put it in then where it was, I think, Namalele. They tested, at our cost. They drove the tractor. They beat it up. They were being told our tractor is in Sujui Kamocha, failing firewood. Say, "No, this is part of testing it. We have to withstand how farmers use it. Bring more fuel, test it. Or bring more tires, test it. Bring more fuel." They tested it. Then after about a year of testing, say, "Can we get a certificate so that we now put up a factory?" Said, "Actually, we tested the 45 horsepower. Now you need to bring the 80 horsepower. We said, "What? 80 horsepower?" Said, "Yes." Man, we looked for money for about 6 months. brought the 80 horsepower. You don't know what they did to it. It plowed half of Gomba. Man, these people opened farms, 200 acres of pineapples. You can't believe it. Plowed the whole countryside. And still we didn't get the license. So, Uganda still imports tractors today. Yet there were investors who were willing to put up the plant. So I'm trying to tell you that when developing projects like this, you have to thank people like Madame Nduba, Chilunda, when they stand there and say they are fighters. And I really want to acknowledge your boss, His Excellency, because he listened. He listened. I remember fighting with him when she took me to Chisozi. He had all the economic advisors from London School of Economics with their master. And they tore into me, man. They threw me, you know, oh, praise. I said, listen, Your Excellency, these people, give me your board. Give me your board. I need your... He said, the soldiers couldn't believe it. I said, give me your board. I need to teach these people. He said, go ahead, and I need you to be a student. I said, oh. I said, no, this is how it's going to work. So I took his board, and after I was done, he called these people idiots. He called his advisors, what? Idiots. He said, you people are terrible. I need this implemented. But you see, you need a whole infrastructure like us. You understand? If there is no critical mass, you can't implement projects alone. I've lived 5 years in Tanzania. 5. Every terrain of Tanzania with this corridor we've covered. Training that young team, you see. You can't train them like they do at Makerere. Economics, 101, and then they treat you. For example, I left my first degree in agriculture. And I was supposed to be a specialist in dairy production. I got a degree and I can't even milk a cow. So you see, all of us are sold to this idea of formal education, but it's producing in functionality. So when we talk about the Trans-African Value Corridor, all that stuff, you know, we had to solve, we had to find out a way. So what I'm trying to say to many parents here is that the education system that we are perpetuating, and I'm sorry if you're from Ministry of Education, is you cannot build the 21st century with a 19th century education. It's impossible. You see this? I took my team for an investment scoping. Smartphones, Southern India, Southern China. And they are training their people 2 months to produce a smartphone. Now we study for 14 years and there's nothing we can produce. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, we are not cursed. No, we are smart. But we have to go out of that comfort zone. We, Murufla, produce the hides. But Gucci sells us the bags. I'm sure Gucci has no abattoir. Do you understand? I was recently in the Addis Ababa, and the Ugandans are selling hides and skins on lorries, going through northern Kenya, deliver hides and skins, come back. Then our relatives are going to Addis Ababa to buy the finished leather from where? Addis Ababa, and bring it back. So they told me at the African Union, man, there's something wrong with Africa. Your people travel for 3 days to bring us raw, and another group travels for another week to come and buy. So what's wrong with you? And we call it GDP. For any of you who have imported something from abroad, you know how expensive it is. So you cannot develop these landlocked countries, let alone a corridor, unless you understand the power of logistics. Let me put you into perspective. When they built the Kilembe mines, they didn't build it for you. Do you understand? When they built the railway, I remember even the railway towns, Kawalongojo, Mitiana, all those people, the development happened accidentally. It wasn't planned. It was intended to get that copper as cheaply as possible to Mombasa. Look at Entebbe Express Highway. It's extraction. One point in between, the property speculators are the ones who are making money. Suppose that we had had a value corridor approach and put just 2 anchor towns on that highway, it would have reduced the burden to our Ministry of Finance. Do you see what I'm talking about? So do you know why this happens? The financiers don't care, because the financing model that uses sovereign guarantees, it is your children's children who will pay. We who've worked in the global capital markets, let me give you the bad news. The Turkish have their own money, all right? The Indians have their own money. The Chinese have their own money. Without mobilizing our own capital, we'll never go anywhere. That's why on this note, I want to applaud and thank some of those historical shareholders of the Trans-Africa Value Corridor. So guys, we've called you here for you to understand what it takes, all right? And when I sit here with me, it's because we had to go full circle to understand what they call ethnic patient capital. We have to raise money differently. So the bad news I'm breaking to you is that no economy I've been in 4 continents develops by borrowing money, levying tax. You can't do it. You must have financial innovation. And let me tell you something very, very important. The Trans-Africa Value Corridor is very well thought through and still needs a lot of input. It's work in progress, okay? Each of the projects in the Trans-Africa Value Corridor, from the hub port to the railway to the gas pipeline, they are all 1,000 pages of research, financial models, and we do it all in-house. This type of work is 24 hours, 7 days a week. We hardly sleep. To have 4 hours of sleep is a luxury. So you cannot have Trans-Africa Value Corridor and you think you're still doing it like we left Lumumba, 8 to 5. It can't happen. It consumes you. So if you have any young men and women who are prepared to be messed up, please send them over to us, all right? We will train them, all right? Well, and I hope this time, we bring them with some kaunga and some money. It's hard training these people. It takes us like, for an investment banker, you saw those senior ones in those photos, it takes us like 5 years. Because this information is not there in the universities. So I want to thank you so much. I'm going to list out the steps ahead so that you can hold us accountable, okay? It's not enough eating food and bringing you from your family unless we tell you what we are going to do. So step number 1, we've created a Sintra Travaco in Dubai. My brother has to fly back tomorrow. And then after all that is set up, we will then start operating the investment company in the Middle East. It will be an investment vehicle to mobilize, channel funds, technology, to the Trans-Africa Value Corridor, and as well to invest in the Middle East, because there are certain industries that will support Travaco that have to be done there, okay? Also, my brother will be going back to the USA. We are going to establish, actually it's already in the process, a Travaco Foundation, right? The Travaco Foundation is the not-for-profit arm of everything we are doing. That one absorbs what we call soft capital, a lot of emotional capital. And it's because of their branding power that this is going to be the branding engine of Travaco. So they brand Travaco. It's no longer an African project, becomes a global project, okay? Then we are going to set up a vehicle. I cannot tell you on which stock exchange. This is a material that is very complicated, but it's already advanced, that will allow us to access the global capital markets in a very efficient manner. But before even we do that, we have already what we call private placement capital, all right? That we are going to use to start the master plan. So we want to make sure, the reason why we've set this up and launched this, we would like to see that unless COVID becomes very stubborn, in the next 3 months, we launch the Trans-Africa Value Corridor that will map out the final alignment of this corridor. That we have already developed the terms of reference, the benchmark deliverables, the all the scope for the independent engineers and consultants to respond to our terms of reference. So those of you who are engineers in here and have some relevant skills, the way we are going to work over here is going to be just coordination. It's not big enough to hold everything. But the project management office will be based here. Because many of you are in Uganda, we expect to establish a Akagera Aerotropolis. It's a centerpiece of the project, which is an aviation-linked special economic zone. Remember, Tanzania wants us to do the same, the other side of Tanzania. But we believe that Uganda is now sufficiently prepared to receive this project. Then, of course, we have Kasanda Gold City as part of the corridors. We go through to the Semiliki region, and then we'll go, there is a starch city, Hoima. There is also an Iganga, similar starch city. We are looking for local stakeholders. For us, we come in as an investment company. And then once we have local stakeholders, you take care of the land issues and what have you, we just take care of the investment. That's why Four Ways is a very strategic partner. For us, we bring the logistics, the investment, it's your land, we partner with you, okay? Now, all this is enshrined in our 5-year business plan. We've got an executive summary. For those of you who would like to look at it, we'll share it with you, and we take it from there. Another key deliverable that we must start immediately is the Travaco University. You understand? We cannot build this without proper training. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it. I want to call the MC. Save me from this microphone, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, CEO Travaco. Because of this health situation in the country, we managed to make it as small as you see, but very big in the sense that what we are handling is bigger than what we can see.
We are very, very, very grateful for today's time you have given us. Thank you very much for coming. And for those, because most of you are here, because we've depended on you a lot over the period that Mr. Benula has been going through. That's why you are here, to see what we have been doing and to know that we are finally about to graduate. I think we have graduated. With the coming of Dwayne, we have graduated. So now the parents can expect us to do things. We thank you very, very much, all of you. And please, let your friends, your relatives know and take part in this. Please take that message. I know you will, because most of you are already members, shareholders. Look at all the different projects within the corridor, and also we want young people who can think of projects, small and medium scale projects, who can be assisted to put up those projects, so that the whole population takes part in the value corridor. Whoever wants to attack the value corridor can only attack it if we are few. But once we become many, even the most stupid politician will not be able to attack it. So let's be many. Let's use our money. A few weeks ago, I told a friend of mine who came to ask for assistance to go for Kamyufu. I won't say in which party. And I told him, but you are already 6 of the same party, vying for the same position. Why are you putting money there? If you want, just go and talk to people. If they want you, they will choose you. If they don't want you, at least you will not have spent money. Then he says, no. I said, if you really have this money, why don't you come? I will give you a location to mine gold, a location that has already been studied. 40 acres of a studied position. You're going to become a gold miner with the money you are going to use for Kamyufu. He said, Mrs. Miba, after Kamyufu, I'll come and we'll talk about that. He lost. He lost, and he doesn't have the money now to pull for the plot of gold. Advise our people, please. Thank you very much. I'm not saying going for leadership is bad, but there are times that you see that my chances are 1 to 9. Why go there? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Our dear guests, that marks the end of today's program.
Nyola Kambele makaniko belu Bayimbira muko nganyimbira muko ne hopo Mama wabula muwe mlio mnamchali batongazi Batumbideko nnyo tugende maso gamati oh boy yes
Njagala kumanya oli fine. It's fine, oli fine. Njagala kumanya oli fine. Kuba natera okulinnya train. Ayabasi kwagala biri ebyalagirwa. Omupe.
Oh, bana ebisanyusa okulaba nnyo ddala. Wale tukuba omuziki.
Yebale kusiima anko.
Kakati waliwo wano faani wa kyasinze.
Yes, sebo.
Kayimba akapyako we bakasuula yekka yazina.
Yeah, boy.
Na gwoliko ku stage. Ayitibwako oku.
Good. Yeah, boy.
Tukongereyoko wali mu maaso.
Wali.
Tuli mabega.
Kale.
Agenda kala kisango ayabasa Lega tuzanye yakazanyo Wakafaino Kakanait Nze kochi leka kusomesa kukukonyo Wamazanyo Lifadema Njagala tukole mubiri Amise atuye Njagala bijuma dudududulati Amise atuye dudududulati Njagala patangale konomukati Amise yiba dudududulati Amise yiba dudududulati Amise Mbole kwa me and you Tonya lutani Yansi tulu eventually wonder My bobo sembera compinzira Bobo sembera completagala Bobo sembera compinzira
Thank you guys for this opportunity. I'm so honored. I love you so much. May God bless you. Bakumete ko menamina. May balo pinyandiza nubayimbira muko.
Dodolo na kuziruli ndagala mazimoni bakusa Oyabas, zamali matoke Mama gulu zekatwa Tell me what you want to get back Mbelina mwaji maiba Zekala nyumila blokola Love you kamele katamika zikakula Sakala kumanya abatufu bosula Jagala kumanya kitufi blokola Awukati sonja Mufula your best friend yokolela baby Wasaine Kubya love Kuyamba kukupa mbisa makodile Jojo I give you my love Jojo I give you my heart Odolu na kuzeboli ndagana Mazimoli bonzisa You are my one and only You are my one and only Tuvenga Bobby and Bobby My love Tumbila mommy, tumbila daddy girl Tumbila mommy, Mami kata girl, ya make us a superstar. Balance, balance. Put it at this photo, science. Put it at this photo, science. What's that? Science. Okay. Don't be like it, nobody like, don't be like it, nobody like, don't be like, nobody like, don't be like, yeah, don't be like it, nobody like. When I was just doing a kind of a shame by you, don't be like, don't be like, Sam. Jojo, I give you my love, Jojo, I give you my
much. Dodolo na kuzeroli dagana mazimoli bonzisi. Dodolinga mata, dodolinga papali. Dodolo na kuzeroli dagana mazimoli bonzisi. Kale nunga yokola, davyo kamele takena tasikakuta. Dagala kumanya kapakufu wasula, dagala kumanya titufu yokola. Everybody don't ya, ula yo best yokola baby. Don't say next, we are love. We are baba kubam this on my body. Don't be like it, don't be like, don't be like, don't be like, don't be like, what's up? Don't be like, 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 oh balance, balance, oh balance, balance. I love you so much. Thank you so much. I was. Kanange singing you. Kanange kayimba chakabula you. Hope mkwimbire kayimba. Tukademo. Bana tukademo. Awo mugameki aya bas. Ije tudemo kayimba kando. Don't give you my love. Don't give you much. Don't na kuzeruli ndagana mazimoli bonzisi. Aya bas. Somebody make my okay. Come on, go to take a second. Tell me what you want to get, girl. Mbele na mwenye marifa. Zekale kinezira miyambola. Ladio kamile kandela ndesikakula. Zakala kumanya abatufu wasula. Zakala kumanya jitufu yokola. Abuka kushonja. Ula your best friend yokola la baby. Kwa sainment we are love. We are makoku bambiso makomile. Don't be like, 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 don't be I give you my love, I give you my heart. You are my one and only. You are my one and only. To bring up Bobby and Bobby. My love, what's that? To me the mommy, to me the daddy girl. To me the mommy, oh boy, boy, boy. To mommy kata girl. Ya make us a super star. Balance. What's up? Love balance. Balance. Okay. Good science. Put it at tuning. Put it at tuning. Science. Don't be like, 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 yeah, don't be like, don't be like, don't be like, what do I give you my love? What do I give you my heart? Don't na kuzeroleka na mazimoli bonzisi. Dodolinga mata, dodolinga papadi. Dodolina kuzeroleka na mazimoli bonzisi. Dokale numega yokola, ladio kamele katena tusikakula. Takala kumanya abatufu wasula, takala kumanya titufu yokola. Ula your best friend yokola baby. Kwa sainment we are love. We are makoku bambiso mapodi. Don't be like, 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 kabalala pe Vancouver. Don't be like, don't be like, kabalala Vancouver. Don't be like, olumala pe Vancouver. Don't be like, I love you so much. Bye-bye. Hey, your teacher, what you think? Is it man? Not as a but not man afraid of what I'm under. I got stuff like 20 watt wobbly for me juggle dancer like a ball. Watch out.
Question doesn't answer question, truth are the truth. You see? Dance all me take you through the journey, make you cool like tourist in a game park. Show you lion, head up, show you crocodile, show you monkey, ostrich, show you vulture, antelope, elephant, wild beast, wild duck. Me and the dancer to a guy. Me and the implant, me mix up in a thing. Yeah man, go time to get there. Go to me, they can't put in this. Go back, you never did one cook and bad mother with the hand. Go back, you with the phone, go with the tension. A man gonna can't get something. But then the same baby, but then you do it. What it? Carry, go do it, go near it. Come, get the cancer message you get in there. So then they do that, so then you can't put in this. But I just want to know what could be sorry for the. That's how you go away, it's a cabulaza, Bubraza, Buaruganda. Hey, I'm so that. I mean, you was the time and tell you, who got a month, who got your program, so they come and so it's a fire, but still now. Do the value, more than the we're gonna go back with the program. We are going to go on the corner. You are going to go jump on for record. Or try a back with Santa away for our chicken. As in a sister, and there was a teaching. Well, it's because you are going to watch out. We're Quasta, we're Kosaki, we're Quasachi, now we're Kuyamo, heavy up with the Gereza, the Kamikamo. Hey, the Gereza, the Cosina, the Yalogamo, Mongo, Sadi Musaja, Wamakebe, Pampa, Tigari, Kisha, Alto, what you have. Only Friday, you are going to tell me, you have a band. Yeah, man. Bad men up here, not fear than nobody, me no lose me, ya win, I'll be back, I'll son of a damn get up the way, bad mind. Repeat money idea, me a real than God, and in a me old, don't know other spitting like a guy that been safe like a life in a Brazilian party, I'll hear, best tell them first, the way they cash wild out from you was a picking, could have free money, could have misjudged, all work, I run down and run, pay attention, when me walk, sit it up on me, that's good, so you are paying what me, that's stuff. Man, you rush up, man, I pay no give, man, I you see me? Travaco big, Travaco big. You see me? Continental, intercontinental, all African. You see now? One more time I go cover. Coco na coco, mfako ngen coco, we fako ka coco, fesio, tinge ya jira babu maroko. Wawe nyaburunja kawa wako kataba. Wali wakari, wakana ni zibandoko. Zibanda mama tata, chini dada ntobego. Beauty contest, no makobisa wacha. We wariko, uchibare kororo kabakayana, bako pura bozi banyanya, arikabakana kwenda fesita kufabara, ditiri kutara, unatakura kwa mwamyaka jona African Madonna. Nduwa mtu wako, tunakule Southern Savannah, wacha. Oh, Travaco, you see me? Meza baino zemina afraid while I'm on rega stop last like great while woman it or me juggle dancer like a ball. See me? She bust a shot same time bust a split. She tell me say yo last general make with me. No one you grip my waist and grip me neck. Make me bend over neck. Make up it up make we take a selfie. And me profile pic she no be a Ota. She no be a OC. Me tell her say I have a plan and me could make a move. She take a ride. She to me run big shop. She to that dancing. She say watch my bill. Check out that water. You see me?